Most people grow up believing that money comes from hard work, long hours, and creating something useful. You work more, you earn more. That's what we're told. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That's not how real money is made. In fact, the people who get truly rich usually don't work harder than everyone else. And very often, they don't produce anything at all. The real winners are almost invisible. They're not on the factory floor, not in the office grinding late at night, and not even always the ones taking the biggest risks. They're behind the scenes, quietly controlling how money moves. And once you see this system, it's impossible to unsee it. Today, I want to show you the hidden laws of money, who actually gets rich, and why most people are playing a completely different game without even realizing it. Let's start with the first hidden law of money, and this one is simple but powerful. Money loves a channel. Real wealth comes from creating a system where money has no choice but to pass through you. Think about Airbnb. They don't own hotels, they don't clean rooms, they don't deal with guests face to face. And yet every single booking goes through Airbnb. Every night booked, every service fee, every small percentage, it all flows through their platform. Amazon works the same way. Most of the products sold on Amazon aren't made by Amazon. They're made by millions of sellers. But Amazon owns the marketplace. And that's the key difference. When you control the channel, you don't need to do the work. You just collect a piece of everything that passes through. Banks, payment processors, marketplaces, app stores, they all work on this exact principle. They're not creating value directly, but they've positioned themselves right in the middle where all the money flows. Once you understand this, you realize something important. Producing the product is often the hardest part, but controlling the system is where the real money is. Here's the second law, and this is where things start to feel a little uncomfortable. Most money isn't created, it's redistributed. The same dollars move around again and again, and every time they move, someone takes a cut. Look at subscriptions. Netflix didn't create every movie you watch. Spotify didn't make the music, but they control access. Millions of people pay a small amount every month, and those payments add up to billions per year. The content creators get a slice, sure, but the platform always gets paid first. The same thing happens with banks, brokers, and financial apps. They don't make the money you deposit. They don't earn your salary. But every transaction, every interest payment, every small fee quietly moves money upward. And most people never stop to think about where that money actually goes. And here's the slightly conspiratorial part. Nobody really teaches this. In school, you're taught how to work, how to be productive, how to be responsible, but not how money actually flows. While people are focused on earning more per hour, massive systems are redistributing wealth in the background, silently and efficiently. If this is already changing how you think about money, make sure to subscribe to the channel because this is exactly what we break down here. And leave a comment below. What example surprised you the most so far? I'm really curious. Now let's talk about the third law, and this one explains why subscriptions are everywhere. Subscriptions are basically a money machine. Once someone pays you every month, the game changes completely. Think about it. If you sell something once, you start from zero again tomorrow. But if 1 million people pay you $10 a month, that's $10 million every month, without selling anything new. That kind of predictable income gives companies enormous power. They can invest, scale, buy competitors, and survive crises that would destroy traditional businesses. And what's interesting is that these companies don't need to own much. Airbnb doesn't own apartments. Spotify doesn't own music. Apple doesn't own most of the apps in the App Store. They just control access. They sit between the user and the creator, quietly collecting recurring payments. Most people think they're paying for convenience or entertainment, but in reality, they're participating in a system designed to create stable, long-term cash flow for intermediaries. That's why the biggest companies today often look so light on the surface, but are incredibly powerful underneath. And here's something I noticed over time. Most people aren't stuck because they're bad or lazy. They're stuck because they're running the same loop over and over. Work, paycheck, bills, stress, repeat. And nobody ever explains how money actually moves. So people just follow the path they were shown and hope it somehow works out. What helped me personally was getting exposed to different ideas. Books like Think and Grow Rich or the biography of Benjamin Franklin didn't give me step-by-step instructions, but they shifted how I looked at ambition, time, and long-term thinking. They were more about direction and motivation. Then I found books by Alex Hormozi, and that was a different energy completely. Very direct, very practical, no fluff. Clear actions, clear numbers, and a focus on execution instead of dreaming. That mix, mindset first, then real actions, helped me step out of that loop. If you're curious, I'll leave links to those books in the description. Not as magic solutions, just as tools that might help you see the game a little clearer. The fourth hidden law of money might be my favorite because it's almost invisible. Commissions. A small percentage doesn't feel like much, but at scale, it becomes insane. Amazon takes around 10 to 15% from sellers. Booking.com takes about 15% from hotels. Payment processors take fractions of a percent on every transaction. On their own, these numbers seem harmless. But multiply them by millions of transactions every single day, and suddenly you're talking about billions. What's wild is that the people doing the real work, the sellers, hotel owners, creators, carry most of the risk. The platform just sits in the middle and gets paid either way. It's almost like an invisible tax on productivity, and most people never question it. And if this topic sounds familiar, that's because we already made a full video breaking down how Amazon, Airbnb, and Booking make billions without producing anything. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely check it out after this. It connects perfectly with everything we're talking about here. So what's the big takeaway? Real wealth isn't about working harder or producing more. It's about positioning. It's about controlling flows, building systems, and collecting small pieces from massive movements of money. Once you understand this, you start looking at businesses, platforms, and even your own career very differently. And that's exactly why these ideas feel uncomfortable, because they're rarely talked about openly. If this video helped you see money from a new angle, subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns like this, and send this video to a friend who's interested in money, business, or how the world really works. And tell me in the comments, who do you think is the biggest unseen winner in today's economy? Some of the smartest ideas always show up down there.